Today I'm taking a look at the top 10 overdrive and distortion pedals ever that I've tried, ever that is. I've tried quite a few, but I haven't tried all of them. So if I miss one, please let me know in the comments. It's also very subjective, so you might like something that I don't like. These are my top 10. Now, why overdrives and distortions? Basically because I don't care what it says on the tin. All I care about is how it sounds. Of course, they have different functions, so one thing might be good for, say, metal, and one thing might be good for blues. I'm just going to take a look at 10 of my favorites. So without further ado, let's get going. This list is in no particular order except for the top 3, which are my absolute favorites. So number 10, this might be a surprise, the Joyo Vintage Overdrive. Why the Joyo? Well, if you want a tube screamer and you're short on money, this is a great option. I did a shootout between this and a vintage tube screamer reissue way back, and they were virtually identical sound-wise. Now, the problem is that I don't know how long this will hold up if you gig with it, and the tube screamer will, of course, hold out probably, but I don't know about reliability, but this costs next to nothing. Let's have a listen to it. That was the Joyo Vintage Overdrive. I really like the sound of it. I forgot to say I'll put links to all of the reviews of these pedals below because I reviewed all of them. So that was the Joyo with everything set on full tone, gain and volume. Really like the sound of that pedal. Number 9 is the Boss DS2. Yes, this I really preferred this over the DS1, and I especially somehow liked the turbo distortion mode on this. It sounds really different, but I really just like this pedal. So I'll get it hooked up and show you how it sounds. Well, play for you at least. This is with the pedal in the turbo mode, and all of the knobs are set to 3 o'clock. Yes, indeed, very nice. If you want the full review, check the links in the description. So, next pedal. The next pedal I sadly don't have. I have 6 of the pedals on this list and 4 I've had to sell to get other gear to review because they say, hey, this isn't free. The next one is the Rev G3. The Rev G3 is a brilliant distortion pedal. I kind of regret selling it, but I just had to. I would really have wanted to keep that thing around. It was a brilliant distortion pedal, and it's much more than just a one-trick pony. Anyway, here's a bit of a clip from the old video where I played it. Sounds very nice indeed. It's not an affordable pedal, but yeah, sometimes quality costs. The next one is one that you'll be lucky to find. It was a very limited edition pedal, and I don't have this one either. I didn't have to sell this one, but I sold it to a friend of mine who's a huge Steel Panther fan. I like them, but I'm not a huge fan. So it's the Pussy Melter by Steel Panther. Yes, this pedal caused such controversy when it came out. Great fun. And Steel Panther, great band. This pedal, also not a one-trick pony, and it's had bucket loads of gain, but on the other hand, you could do mellower stuff with it as well. Mellower stuff with it as well. The color, some people think it's terrible. I kind of liked it. It was horrible looking. So horrible that it looks great. Here is a bit of playing on that pedal. Next one on the list, number 6. Yeah, I can count to 6. Is the JHS Moonshine. Brilliant. I could live with that pedal happily for the rest of my days. It was great. But on the other hand, I had other options that just were a tiny bit better. But that was a great pedal. Also, not a very affordable pedal, but then again, like I said, sometimes quality does come at a cost. I would rely on that pedal. I don't think it will break. Really well built and all that. And sounded absolutely great. Okay, next up is number 5. So we've come to the top half of the list. It's an affordable pedal by Boss. Yes, it's the SD1, the Super Overdrive. This is just a great pedal. I sometimes use it if I want something a bit different from what I normally use. If you're a regular on this channel, you will know what I normally use. I just really like this pedal. It doesn't do bucket loads of gain, so if I want something with kind of a lot of gain, I'm gonna need something to push this even further. But it's just great. I really like this. And it's very affordable. Now, I did a comparison between this, the made in Taiwan version versus the made in Japan version. I actually preferred the Taiwan version, which is a lot cheaper. So I'll just get this hooked up and play a bit. Yes, that was the Boss SD1 with both level and gain set to full and tone roughly halfway. So that's the maximum amount of gain that it does, which is probably enough for many people. Just a hint more would be enough for me, but it sounds absolutely great and it cleans up very nicely. Okay, top 4 now. Next we have a pedal that I don't have anymore, and this was a great overdrive by Vox, the Ice 9, the Joe Satriani overdrive. It sounded great, it had just enough overdrive for me, and if you wanted even more, it had a boost function, slightly large for my liking. If saving space on your pedal board is your thing, then maybe get something else because it was quite large. But a very, very good sounding pedal. Next up we have number 3, and these really are my favorite pedals. Number 3 is the Mosky D250. Now you might be familiar with the Dodd preamp overdrive 250, I think the number is. So this is a copy of, or a clone of that, but it's smaller and it's considerably less pricey. Not that the Dodd is very pricey either, but this costs just $25 new, and you can find second-hand ones for like $10, $15. And it's great, it sounds absolutely brilliant. Now you notice it only has one knob, which is the gain knob, but inside when you open it up, it also has a small trim pot for volume, so you just set and forget that. I have volume set on full, and yeah, I have overdrive set on full as well. Let's listen to how this sounds. Yeah, that kind of sound for 25 bucks, instant Yngwie Malmsteen stuff. It's just a great pedal. Now, I don't know again about reliability, but then again, you can get 2 of these and still have money left compared to if you buy an actual Dodd 250. Okay, so the top 2. Which are the top 2? Now, before I get to the top 2, I have to give an honorable mention to the Dodd 250, which the Mosky is a clone of. Sound-wise, there is not a huge difference between the Mosky and the actual thing. There are different versions of the Dodd as well. I've tried only one version and it's very good. But yeah, factoring in price, the Mosky got onto the list, whereas the Dodd just gets an honorable mention. So, number 2. This pedal is not affordable. But then again, it saves you money in the sense that it does many things. So if you need 2 different overdrives, you're already kind of saving money if you just get this. It's the Strymon Sunset. This is absolutely brilliant. It's so great, I can't praise it enough. It has an A and B side where you can get independent different overdrives, and you can combine the 2 and even get a 4th sound with a favorite switch. And it has a built-in noise gate. How cool is that? Because you might need a noise gate if you are using an overdrive pedal. And this has it built in. So, while it might seem expensive, it's really not all that expensive. Let's take a listen to a couple of sounds from this. I'm going to be using side A with the germanium. It has 3 different overdrives you can select, but I'm going to be using the germanium thing, germanium overdrive. And on the second side, on the B side, I have a 2-stage with much less gain set for this. So let's hear how it sounds. First side B with slightly less gain. And side A with more gain. Yeah, so with this, the Strymon Sunset, you get great sounds, you get an inbuilt noise gate, you get tons of flexibility and certainly enough gain even with a totally clean amp. I've been using the Marshall Plexi, which isn't entirely clean the way I have it set up. So, on to number 1. Now, those of you who followed the channel before might know what's coming up. Yes, it's the Fender Yngwie Malmsteen Overdrive. I'm a huge Malmsteen fan, and some people think I'm a shredder, which is partly true. But then again, this is not a one-trick pony. It cleans up very nicely. You can do Jeff Beck type stuff with it, and it's just a great pedal, and it doesn't cost a lot. Now, if you want an Yngwie Malmsteen tone on a totally clean amp, this won't do it. You'll need something else to push it a bit. But with a Marshall and this, you cannot go wrong. Of course, a few people might say that the Dodd is the old school Yngwie Malmsteen sound. Some people might say that the Dodd 308, the YJM overdrive, is equally as good. It's actually, basically, you could use that instead of this and get basically an identical sound. This is just a bit better to me, just a tiny bit, and it has a LED, and it doesn't have that annoying mini plug power connection. This has the regular type. So that's why this is the best one for me. The Dodd 250, yeah, I just prefer this over that. So you might know how it sounds. I'll hook it up and play anyway. So those were my top 10 overdrive and distortion pedals ever. The ones that I've tried, I'm going to keep trying more and probably do a part 2 at some point. All of the pedals can be found in the description, the reviews of the pedals, that is, if you want the full review. Now, this is very much a subjective matter, so you might prefer something else. Let me know in the comments which one of these pedals you preferred, or if there's something I forgot, or if there's something else you prefer. Or just tell me if you like ice cream or whatever. That's basically all I have for you today. Give the video a thumbs up if you liked it. If you didn't like it, give it a thumbs down. Like I said, comment and subscribe if you haven't already, and hit that bell notification thingy or whatever it is so you get notifications when I upload new videos. I upload Mondays and Thursdays. And support me on Patreon. I have to say, this video has been sponsored by the good people who support me on Patreon. I really appreciate you guys, both patrons present and past. You guys help me make more of these videos, so this one's for you. If you decide to join me on Patreon, you get a bunch of exclusive stuff that's not available anywhere else, like a whole album full of demos. The album hasn't been made yet, but the demos have been made for an entire album, and that's only available on Patreon, and there's tons of other stuff as well. If you want free music, you can check out my website, the link's in the description. You can get a compilation album, free music from there. So, that was basically all I have for you today. I'll end with a bit of playing on the Fender Yngwie Malmsteen Overdrive, and I hope to see you in another video. Take care. It was good having you along. Bye! Yuck, this thing is out of tune. See you.